the Blooming Ebony. Welcome to YouTube Conversations. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Why the Blooming Ebony as a channel name?
Yeah. So I actually started my channel about 2 years ago. I just didn't post anything, so I didn't know what to post. And I didn't have a name. And I told my partner what I wanted my channel to be about. And he sat down and he started like brainstorming names, and that was one of the names on the list. And so it's been the Blooming Ebony ever since.
Okay. And how are you doing? How are you?
Good.
You
Doing
good?
well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Where you from?
I'm from Victorville, California. It's
Oh, California. Okay.
yeah.
Is that where you was born and raised in California?
hmm
You was. Okay. Do you travel often?
Back and forth. So I live in Oregon now. So I go back and forth to California. My partner travels a lot for work, so I'll travel where he is as well. Um, but not too often. Not out of the country, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think right now is the time to travel
Yeah,
out the country anyway. Did you grow up with both parents?
I did.
You
I did.
did. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, now, when you was you raised around your other peers, friends, that didn't have both parents?
Um, Not that I can recall.
Like a
I
single parent household, your friends?
Some of them, yeah. A small
And
percentage.
not to quite put them on the spot, but have you noticed the dynamic of have you noticed the dynamic as far as the way your upbringing versus the single parent?
Sort of. So I think what I noticed was there was a big difference in my friends who were happy within their household and had parents that seemed happy to me. When we go over to their houses, their parents seemed happy. They would travel together. They seemed like they were in a very satisfactory marriage. But my friends where their parents were either not together and their parents remarried, whatever it may be, if their parents weren't happy, if they were in very unstable households, I saw that effect on them. And it was pretty similar with my friends who were in single parent households and my friends who parents were either with their father or not with their father but remarried to a new man. The effects were similar
Mm.
just because they weren't happy. The household was a little bit shaky.
You started a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
um, Mainly discussing the issues with the Black community or just as a collective of people to learn and grow, right?
Um, mostly women. Um, but yeah, it's kind of because I think women have been affected the most by a lot of um, little bits of the Black culture. I think how our Black culture has evolved is kind of turned into it being more about the Black culture, and how that's evolved and how that's affected women.
Hmm. So, what do you believe as far as there's a lot of great things within the Black community, right?
Mhm.
And well, like me personally, I'm for all people, right? There's Black, it doesn't really matter, but the only reason why I'm mainly concerned about the Black community because I'm Black,
Yeah.
and so is my family, and the kids I'll probably have will come out Black or whatever else. Um, as far as that, so what if there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad, right? What
Mhm.
are what are the one name just one thing you would like to take away from the Black community that's affecting us in a negative way?
In a negative way. Single parent households. It's the highest within the Black community.
Mm.
Um, it creates the most poverty within our community. I think by minimizing that, we would see a lot more generational wealth. I even think abortion rates would come down. Like if we were to just stop single parent households and increase marital rates, I think that the ripple effect of just lowering that one thing would have tremendous positive effects on the Black community.
So that's a really big topic, right?
It is. It's huge.
What's the cause of the single parent household? Obviously, we know, two people get together, they do what they gotta do, and that's where the cat come out. The guy don't want to be around for whatever reason. But what's the solution? Like, what if you just? It's very broad, right? What's one way you think that we can do something that's going to improve that situation?
I think the best place to start would be to kind of reject modern feminism. I think this idea that women are strong, that they can do it on their own, became more than just an idea. It became like a way of life almost. And like even when I was growing up, I would hear my mom say to me, myself and my sisters, like, if you have a child, it's your child. You're going to be the one who's going to be the most dependable for that child. And then I would hear like my sister-in-law say things like, oh, the dad's not going to help, and it's just embedded in us that as a woman, you have to do it by yourself. And so when he leaves, when it comes to you having a child, you're not even thinking, let me marry this man for a more stable household for my child. You're going into it with the belief that he isn't dependable, whether or not he's here. And then when you have government assistance, that makes him not being dependable a lot easier to bear. So I don't know, it's definitely a big topic. But I think the best way to start is to kind of rebuild the, how can I say this? We need to lean more on the nuclear family. We need to start putting more respect on both roles, the father role and the mother role. And I think feminism has done a really good job of minimizing the man's role, to the point where even if a woman says that, we have women calling that woman names because they don't want to hear that. It's basically like cursing, saying that men are important, equally as important as women, especially with children. It's gone to a point where you can't even say that anymore. So I think part of that was modern day feminism had a lot to do with that, as well as a lot of the trauma that the Black community has faced as far as like high incarceration rates, like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, where the men couldn't be there. I think because our moms and our aunts and our grandmas developed a mindset that, we did it by ourselves because we had to. They're kind of preparing their daughters to do it on their own as well, even though that's no longer the environment that we're in. And it doesn't make any sense for them to be raising us to do it by ourselves.
Yeah. I feel like people like me, you having these conversations, it does help. Someone got to listen, right? Even if it's just one person. But also we're like, we're fighting a very steep uphill battle because there's a show called Power. You've heard of it before, right? I think 50 Cent produced it. And you're looking at it, and it's like Mary J. Blige. I think she's close to 50, I think. But she's playing as a queen pin, which is like a drug lord, as a female.
Oh.
And it's very entertaining. But at the same time, it's like Denzel Washington spoke about you got to be very selective of the roles you choose, right? So that's why you don't see him doing after he did Training Day, you don't see him doing any movies like that because it was just so glorified. I think that's the first time he ever won an Oscar was after he did that movie. So when you have these celebrities, right, you do a YouTube video on financial education or something like that, it don't get no views. But you
None.
do a video talking bad about someone, everyone's clicking. You know. So, but let's take a little step back as far as your YouTube channel, right? What made you want to start the YouTube? What made you want to start a YouTube channel?
When I realized that there weren't many people who were starting from like level 0, showing that journey. So basically I got into like femininity, wanting to be a more feminine woman. I realized that I wanted to be married, and I wanted to get married a bit younger. And a lot of the people who were on YouTube, if they were talking about it, they were already married, much older, maybe like 40s. And they just had a lot more experience. And they were more so coming off as like life coaches. And I just wanted to find somebody who wasn't a coach, who wasn't an expert in the field, who was just kind of like keeping like a diary of their journey. So someone else could watch it and kind of learn from them, see what mistakes they made, what they did well, what they didn't do so well. But I couldn't really find that in that realm. Like I could find it with weight loss. Like there were plenty of people who were showing like their day 0 weight loss journey, but nothing when it came to like femininity. And so I thought it could be helpful to be someone kind of preaching this from a more positive lens, who's unmarried, in her 20s, just trying to see, is there like a modern way to be a housewife? Like, is there a way that we can intertwine the two, and then kind of show that experience, that growth?
I think the hair extension industry, you know, is like the black dollars is in the billions that's going outside of the community. You know, it's going outside the community because the hair is not black. It's not like it's, you know, black women cutting off their hair and selling it. No. Coming from, you know, what, horse or Asian woman, Thailand, whatever.
Brazil.
So all those dollars are leaving. Do you understand what that can do as far as youth centers and stuff like that? Also, women, these mothers got to be held accountable. They got it. Now, when I say women, mothers, because a lot of the, I'm sure you're aware of the spike of teenage violence, right? That's spreading across the country. Yeah. A lot of those teenagers, single parent household, you know, men need to be held accountable too. But there was a study that was done as far as the men that are out here having children. You have 100 men. It's only about maybe 12% out of 100 that's having all these kids from different women. It's a small percentage of men, black men, that's actually just spreading their last name around, you know? So when you uploaded your first video, was you nervous, or how was? Huh?
Extremely. Very nervous. I still get nervous. Because there are videos that I'm trying to edit right now, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't post this. So it takes me a while. Like now that because I stopped doing panels as much, and the panels were easier because there were more people to kind of spread the attention across.
The information, right?
Yeah. With the uploaded videos, it's just me. And you have to edit behind the scenes. You want it to be entertaining. You don't want it to be too long, but then you don't want it to be too short because you might cut something out. And so, yeah, it's nerve-wracking. It's fun, but it's a lot. It can be a lot. So I still I can't even listen to my first video at all. I don't listen to it. I look at the views just to make sure that people are still watching it, but I can't listen to it.
No?
Yeah.
The first video you uploaded, right? What can women learn from Courtney? Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
That was the first video, right?
I think
what made you want to, that was your first video. Why, what was going through your mind at that time? Because I watched the video, and from that moment, that's when Courtney started to receive the backlash. Yeah, that's when the split. That's when I think when JR and Anton said that this is not I think they said this is not a black show, or this is not something like that, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that all people are welcome. That's mainly what they were saying. The division of that show split, you know, and even till today, a lot of tension, you know. So now Courtney recently did a video on another podcast explaining the reason why she left.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why she left is because there was just too. It's been about a year since the Kevin Samuels phenomenon of what was the name of it? Was the your average at best, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when all these red pill guys came out of nowhere and, you know, saying the things that they was doing and blah blah blah. But do you feel there's been a progress since that time?
Since Kevin Samuels or since my first video?
I will say from the time of Kevin Samuels' first that video. Did you watch it?
Yes, the average at best video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes and no, which I know is like the worst answer I could give. It depends. Yes, it made progress because I think it forced women to listen to men and to listen to men who didn't care about how they felt about them. It's like typically when, like if you watch podcasts now, you hear men speak to women, they always give like a disclaimer. They always kind of sugarcoat it, you know? Mm. Kevin Samuels didn't. He just kind of ripped the Band-Aid off. And I think it kind of forced women to think, yeah, not all men are going to talk to me the way that I want to be talked to. Mm. You know, like there is not always going to be rainbows and sunshines. Maybe there's more that I should be doing as a woman to get the men that I want. Mm. I think that there are a lot of women who watched that video and thought, dang, maybe I am just an average woman. Maybe I did waste my money, $60,000, $100,000, $200,000 on school, and I'm unhappy. Like it forced them to really look in the mirror. A lot of the things that he says are very true. It just comes from a man. When I first heard those things, I heard them from a woman. And so I think I was able to swallow it a lot easier. But I think that we made progress in the sense that he definitely got the conversation going. And it forced a lot of women to think about how they should put in the work. Think about what type of work should be put in. And maybe reflect on what they've done and how maybe what they've done to this point was selfish and it was only for them and men don't really care about it. It doesn't benefit the men or their future families all that much. But no, in the sense that because when he put that video out, red pill rage was a thing. And so I think a lot of men did watch that video and think that they could be him and take it out on a lot of women. And I think it's a small minority of men who have red pill rage and take that out on women. But unfortunately, that's what a lot of women see. Like people don't usually notice the positive things. They usually notice negative things, and those things get blown out of proportion. I think that's what happened with Kevin Samuels. Like the very, very small minority of men that were really angry, they're kind of outshining the men who are following Kevin Samuels' advice and then hoping that women will do the same thing.
First time I heard of red pill rage was from another YouTuber named MTR. Mm-hmm. Do you watch him?
Yeah.
You heard of him? Mm-hmm. Okay. We failed to realize the issue is us as men need to be held accountable, right? If there's a set of women that want to live a certain lifestyle that we don't agree on, we got to be the leaders. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to go back and forth with a woman, you know, to be arguing and so forth. I see a lot of the men are debating and arguing. Just listen, You know, if you're a man, maybe you got to move to Alaska because they're hiring a lot. You know, maybe you got to work 5 jobs. But as a man, you got to make money. You know, you don't have to make a substantial amount. I mean, like 200,000 a year, but you got to make, and you just go and create your own family, and then your family will create family, and then it will just follow that structure. And us, the men that are you spoke with, that's listening, that's trying to change and so forth. Just live your life. How many times does Kevin Samuel have to tell a woman, don't wear your bonnet on? Because he has like 20,000, 19, 15,000 people watching.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening? They still coming on with the bonnet.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the message is correct? Is it getting through?
I don't know. So that one's really hard. To men, yes. I've seen it in men. And men are more vocal about it. We're more vocal about their growth. Women, I think there's a silent, I don't know if it's a silent majority or minority. I think the women who are following what Kevin Samuel says, I think they're really quiet.
Mm.
And so I don't know if the bonnet wearing women are just louder. And so we see them more and we're like, oh, like we're never going to, break through. Or I don't know. Women, it's hit or miss. I'm not sure if it's a silent minority that's kind of like hiding under a rock, fixing themselves, building themselves, or if it's a majority that's doing it. I'm just gonna wait for the 2020 stats to come out to see how many marriages we got in the Black community last year to know for sure. But it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I've only met a few women who like what he says, but for the most part, people listen to him, but they're not really making changes.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, like, for the silent majority of the women that are trying to work on themselves and change, or develop into what they're supposed to be, the reason why they're quiet is because look what happened with Monique, right? Monique, have you heard Monique was talking about the bonnet thing?
Yes. Yeah.
And there's several women that said, Monique said you should walk up to the woman and be kind and say, sister, don't. And a lot of the comments that the women are saying is like, no, she's gonna beat my ass. If I tell her, hey, the most nicest way, hey, listen, you shouldn't, blah, 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 let me get you, give you some money for your hair, they'll fight you right there in the airport. The young woman, And what's the issue? They're raising kids.
Yes.
The cycle just the cycle continue. So let's jump a little bit back. I know we're back and forth. Let's jump back to your first video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit before your video, when Courtney came around, it was like a big phenomenon, right? The channel, the Lapeep network was really growing. People really loved her, and then all of a sudden, she said the things that she said according to with Amira, which I disagree, right? Because you can't call someone the Taliban, which they're not, right? So, which is a racist rhetoric, but it just really shows you how we're so quick to turn on each other. Courtney's wrong, okay? But we gotta remember she just recently became trying to become traditional. So she still has, just like all of us, right? Still has her ways of who she is, So I think with the thing is that a lot of the men, it just shows you a lot of the men that claim to be red pill or, man, if you don't agree with them, they're just ready to bash you.
Yes.
At the end of the day, she's still human. She's wrong, but she's still, she's still human. They'll praise you 1 minute, and that's something about the reason why I was asking you how did you feel when you first upload your first video, because look how people will love you, and then the next moment they'll give you a thumbs down on your YouTube channel.
Yes. Yeah, and be evil in those comments. Like I couldn't believe the things that they were saying about Courtney. I actually considered taking my video down because I didn't want her to feel attacked. Because I think after that, a lot of people were making videos. And I didn't want my video to fall into that. Because I actually messaged her and I told her, like, you deserve grace. Like, people deserve grace. They deserve wiggle room. Like, you want to see people grow, you want them to grow, and then when they try to show you that, you attack them. You attack them heavily. There is this video that went around many years ago, and there was this teacher, and he was writing equations on a board, and he had them all correct. And there was like 10 there. He had them all correct, but he wrote one wrong on purpose, and the students just like attacked him. Like, you're so stupid. Like, you got the last one wrong. And he's like, do you see how I got all of these right, got one wrong, and that's what you guys noticed? And it was like this huge like awakening when I watched that video. It's like you can do everything right and do one thing wrong, and that's what they'll attack you on. That's what their energy will go towards. Like, they didn't praise you for the 9 right, but they will attack you for that one wrong. But that situation was very unfortunate with Courtney. I saw it coming. I definitely saw it coming. The minute that Amira popped on, I knew that that was probably going to be her last video. She actually stayed on longer than I expected. But yeah, that whole thing was predictable from someone who I was learning about this stuff while I was watching Courtney. And so when it happened, I had literally watched a lesson on why what she did wasn't okay. And so I was like, this is it. Like, they're going to take her down for this, even though it's very common. There are femininity coaches teaching about this. So if it wasn't common, there wouldn't be lessons on it. But the viewers don't see it that way, and they never will, unfortunately.
Yeah, the viewers are not just on that network, but the people are very, very, very much divided. People, our people are just very, very much divided. Yeah, because you also put that we can learn just as much from Courtney's weaknesses as we can her strengths. Right. So, yeah, I think moving forward, because I was upset. I was so disappointed. I believe one of her mistakes, and a lot of people's mistakes, are that they talk about their personal life. When you are on this social media platform, if you post a picture of your family, if you speak on something, it's open to public discussion.
Exactly.
I think too early on, she made the mistake of just being too open about her life. You don't have to be open. You don't owe people nothing. So to be an open book, I don't owe you. Why am I going to show you my family? I don't owe you. So
yeah,
not just her, but I think people in general, they get into a new space, becoming a new person. And you see it all the time, right? Like 2022 is coming up, and everyone's going to be showing in the gym. And then a few months later, they're still fat because they fell off. It just,
yeah.
Do you work out? You can record them, and when you lose the weight, you can post everything.
Yeah.
It's just too, I think people, what do you feel about people sharing their personal life, especially early on?
It depends. I think it can lead to like a downward spiral if they do it in a way that isn't controlled. Like, I watch quite a few YouTubers who have been on YouTube for years, and they show their children, because back when YouTube first started, it was just a bunch of regular people, showing their house renovation, or how to, I don't know, set up your water hose, like just really random videos. So if their child walked by in the back, it was normal. Like, it wasn't like how it is now. And they've been able to show their family in a way that isn't, the people who watch them have been watching them for so long. So they do kind of have more of that, like, where they kind of are friends with their subscribers. You know, like, watch their children grow up. Like I follow a few YouTubers where I've watched their children grow up. You know, like I've known that they were pregnant before they knew they were pregnant to that extent. Nowadays, in the Black manosphere, particularly with red pill rage, I don't think it makes much sense to put too much of your personal life online, because people are really picky. Their standards are super high. Even if they don't meet those standards themselves, the standards for the YouTubers are extremely high now. And they will pick at everything. You know, like they can be 300 pounds overweight telling you that you need to lose 10 pounds, or telling you that you need to go to the gym just because they see it somewhere else. Like they can listen to one study on how to parent kids and then try and tell you how to be a parent because they think that they know it. They don't know you personally, so there aren't really boundaries on YouTube. And so I think in certain spaces where the viewers are hypercritical, like in the manosphere, Kevin Samuels, Anton Daniels, MTR, all of that, I think just keep it to yourself for the most part.
Keep it to yourself. Yeah, because of if I disagree with something, I've had people check my Facebook bio of the job or the business I own, and they're trying to find a Google reviews. Like we're discussing about single parent household, because you don't like my comment, you're trying to find where I work, business, put bad reviews. You call the job, try to get me fired.
And they've done it.
Yeah, I mean they have, but the person that answered the phone is me.
Oh,
God, all right.
Yeah.
And of course, it's my people.
Yeah.
Of course, anyone could do it, but it's my people. What is your thoughts on black crime? Meaning, right? Because I know some people say that it doesn't exist. That's fine. Black people killing and harming black people. That's what I mean by black crime. Because right now, it's really out of hand. Let's talk about the teenagers, right? The black on black crime, the teenagers. What's your thoughts on that?
I have so many. To start, my first thought initially is that it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate for many reasons. It's unfortunate because it sucks that the stats show that you're more likely to die from somebody who looks like you versus somebody who doesn't. Like that alone is extremely saddening. What's I think more unfortunate is the fact that we can't talk about it. Like we understand that interracial crime within races, is common globally, but we should be able to isolate the Black community and talk about what's affecting the Black community without having to compare it to other communities and how other communities are also facing the same issue. And it's like, I don't want to say it like this, but just to rip the Band-Aid off, who cares about the other communities killing themselves? It's awful, but I'm a bit more biased towards the people that look like me. I'm more concerned about my Black child who's going to grow up and have to fear being killed by another Black child. It sucks that it's happening in all communities, but it's not my community. I don't have any control over white people killing white people, Hispanics killing Hispanics. That's for them to deal with. But I think we should be able to isolate the Black community and say, hey, we have this issue, big or small. Right now it's big. It's a huge issue. We should be able to isolate it and say, this is what we need to do for us, without bringing in other communities and comparing ourselves. I don't understand what that does. What does it do to say, well, white people are killing themselves too? That is where I get so frustrated. It's extremely frustrating. I think that we need to isolate the issue, talk about why Black people are killing each other, where they're killing each other. What are these kids not doing that are leading them to to have so much freedom where they even have time to do this type of stuff, where they even have the time to commit crimes to this extent. Where are the parents lacking so much where their children have the time to commit these crimes? And why can't we ask those questions? You know, like if you tell a parent, hey, I think you should be home with your child. Maybe, you know, your husband should maybe pick him another job if he can, and you should be home with your child so he's not walking home by himself in LA at 6 p.m. Possibly, like just little things like that. You can't even have those conversations. So the black on black crime is something that isn't going to be demolished completely. We can't get rid of it completely, but we can at least isolate the issue and think about why the people that look like us have the time, the children that look like us have the time, have the ability, or even know how to commit crimes to this extent. Just asking questions like that, we can't really do that much without being attacked, without being told that you're just whatever people say nowadays, coon, all of that. You know, if you say anything negative about the Black community, you just get attacked. I was called anti-Black on vacation for having a very similar conversation that we're having right now. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's happening, and it's even more unfortunate that we can't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said it best. It's like, you know, when you're talking about the issues that happen in the Black community, they said, white people kill each other too. Like, but I'm talking about that person. Talking about this. When I walk, because I grew up in an urban community, but when I go outside, if I have to think, okay, well, something's gonna happen to me, I don't think of a white person harming me. I don't think of the police that's harming me, right? Not saying that, you know, police brutality don't happen, but that's not my concern. I don't fear that. I don't even think of that. I'm thinking of, okay, me, I'm gonna, you know, someone like me is gonna come by and do something, right? Or the Hispanic, whatever the case may be. So I've been called a coon for the same issues, but I say, okay, you know what? Maybe you're right. Does it make you a coon that you're using a white man's platform to express to have this dialogue? Who's the white man? The iPhone, Facebook, Instagram. Does that make you a coon that you're using their platform? Why can't you just go find someone that's Black, right? Black, you know, so.
Yeah.
And of course I get reported. Hair extension. There was a post that said that this guy, right or wrong, who knows, he said that on the first date, because he only dates Black women, first date, he requires women to wear no makeup and no hair extensions. Yes. What's your thoughts on that?
I loved it. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was like, oh, wow. Like, that's really good. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I wear makeup. I don't wear hair extensions. Unless I'm tired of my hair, then I might put it into a wig just to give myself a break, or I do braids every once in a while. But I thought there's nothing wrong with a man having a preference. And the preference, what's so funny about that in particular is that it's stuff that you just wash off anyways. It's nothing that's like hard to get rid of. You just take off the makeup. You just don't put it on that day. Or you take it off before the date. You know, you just put your hair into a ponytail that day instead of putting your wig on, whatever it may be. It's not like he's telling women that they have to have a BBL, breast augmentation, you know, they have to be 5'2". Like, it wasn't any of that. It was stuff that they shouldn't even be that attached to. You know, that post just showed how attached women are to things that make them look less like themselves. And I thought that's unbelievable. Like the backlash he got on that post.
Oh, you saw? Yeah, he received hundreds. I'm pretty sure now it's in the thousands of backlash. He's controlling, right? He's controlling. I would never go on a date with that person. I'm like, man, but this is how you look. This is how you know. So a woman was on Kevin Samuel's show, and he said that thing you have on your head, which is I think it was a wig. He said, "Why are you wearing that?" Now she got in her head. She felt embarrassed because she felt like, okay, he's saying, why am I wearing a wig? He's saying, why are you wearing straight hair? Your hair's not straight. At least get a wig or weave, whatever that's similar to your natural hair.
Mm-hmm.
You try to look like somebody else. So that other guy received so much backlash. Um, it just shows you how much women are not comfortable with themselves, and that's why, honestly, you see a lot of women as they get older. There's like a half an inch missing, right? They call them edges or something like that.
Yeah.
It's missing
Yeah.
because they got girls that are 6 years old wearing a weave.
Mm-hmm.
And then here the braids. I'm like, man, they're just not gonna have no. They're only gonna have a forehead and the back. What
Yeah.
what age do you? What age is it okay for a young girl to wear, weave or wig and makeup?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, for extensions, wigs and weaves, I think never. There's never a good age unless you have an issue like alopecia. Then I think it's completely acceptable at any age for a young woman to want to wear a wig. Because there's no reason for her to be embarrassed, until because kids are mean. Let's make that very clear. Kids are very mean, so if she has to wear a wig to school to make herself feel less like she's sticking out, that's totally fine. But other than that, I don't think weaves and wigs are. I don't really think there's an age. Just don't wear them if you don't have to. There's no reason. Makeup. My mom didn't let me wear makeup. I think I bought my first bottle of foundation when I was like 18. I wore foundation for the first time when I was 17, going to prom. Before that, I was only allowed to wear mascara, eyeshadow, and Vaseline at like 16. And I thought that was a pretty good age. I thought it was a wonderful age, actually. I think that's old enough. I think 16 is good. Before 16, I don't think it's necessary. Maybe mascara, just like on the eyelashes, just to elongate your lashes. But other than that, I think before the age of 16 is too young. When it comes to braids, braided extensions, I think when you can afford it yourself. Like in my case, they're going to be doing their own hair. Like I'm going to be doing their hair. And if they want stuff added on, when they can buy it themselves, they can do it. And I'll help them. I'll do it for them. But until they can buy it themselves, I'm not going to touch it. I don't like my kids should want to. I don't wear it very often. Now, if I'm wearing it all the time and they're curious because they're seeing their mom do it all the time, that's different. But if I'm wearing my hair like this and they see someone at their school with extensions, I'm gonna tell them, well, when you can buy it, you buy it and I'll help you install it. But other than that, you work what you have. That's free. But the rest of it, it doesn't grow on trees. So
Why are women so attached to what's not like why? What you see a lot, right? Is everything is sexualized. You look at Instagram, you see that out. The WAP. Is that what they call it? The WAP.
yeah.
You see that that it's just posted everywhere, and these are the same women that said they want to have a successful relationship. Don't look at them just for sex. Why are women? We know men are, right? That's our nature. But why are women so fascinated with everything concerned with sex? The BBL, right? The BBL, the provocative clothing. What is that about? A lot of the women are dressed like prostitutes, right? So you look at the way it was in the 90s or early 2000s. The women today are dressing worse than the prostitutes were dressed. So what is your thoughts on that?
It's getting to the point where they're kind of dressing like drag queens, like straight women are dressing like drag queens. Very bold eyeshadow, long lashes, the wigs. It screams San Francisco.
So you have the older generation of women. They're not, and my mom told me too, the older generation, they're not teaching their children They're teaching the children to in their 20s enjoy it, don't get married, don't take it serious.
Yeah,
While the other generations, other nationalities, and so forth, they're getting married at a young age.
they are.
They're focusing just like they're spending 5 hours studying.
Hmm.
They're spending 5 hours finding a husband or becoming the woman to develop into a husband.
Yes.
So I think I personally believe the reason why the parents are teaching that is because of their experiences, negative experiences, and also our living in an urban. Have you grew up in an urban community?
No, not
Oh, you
really.
didn't. Oh, okay, okay. So you didn't grow up in the hood.
No. It's
Okay,
not
so you
really.
didn't. Okay, so you didn't grow up on government assistance.
No.
Oh, really? Wow.
No.
You are very rare. I guess you are the Blooming Ebony, huh? But I mean, you've known people that grew up on government assistance, food stamps, and so forth. Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's just a reflection of our environment, and I've also noticed. I think that it's very subconscious. A lot of men that date outside their race, date outside dating a black woman, is because subconsciously we don't want to be with a woman that is our mother.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, our mother has a lot of great qualities, but at the same time, relationship wise, hell no. You know.
Yes.
So let me see. So what we have here. I think what time you said you said you're done at 5:30, right? What
Um,
time?
so the stream doesn't start until 5:30. I have to check in at 5:15, so I have time.
What time was it? Time is it over there?
Oh, it's 2:17 here.
2:17. Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
5:30 my time. 5:30 my
Your
time.
time.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I have
got
to
it.
like
Okay.
3 hours for that
Yeah, you're
start.
3 hours behind.
Yeah. Are you on the East Coast?
Yeah, Queens, New York.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
It's not that nice, but yeah. No, I'm joking. I don't live quite over there, but you know what was happening over here is that as of I think as of as of today, our mayor decided to open up two centers, one in Manhattan and one in Manhattan. Oh, two. I think it's two. I think one in the Bronx, one in Manhattan. Anyway, two locations in New York City where they're going to be administering drugs. So someone could walk into the facility with crack cocaine, heroin, and the facility is going to take the heroin, insert into the needle, and properly insert it in their veins. So when you ask what's wrong with the community, it's the government is structuring the destruction and the people that they're just allowing it. So what's going to happen in those areas? The areas is gonna get worse
Worse,
because
because
that's
now
what you're
you're
gonna have. You're gonna have those people hanging around.
yeah, they're gonna hang around, and if they work now, they're not gonna be working very soon. So you have homelessness, and then that as that grows, the businesses you're gonna start seeing more crime. The businesses will begin to leave Manhattan. You know, a lot of businesses are there, so it'll be a while, but
Mm-hmm.
the businesses can't hang around much longer. The more homelessness grows. I'm in Portland, and they actually passed a law, I believe, in Portland that you can have like so much meth on you before you actually go to jail.
You're in Portland.
And
Oh
yeah, I'm in
Jesus.
Portland, Oregon. Yeah. Yes. And the homelessness here is really, really bad.
Are you near where all that craziness was happening last year?
Yeah. Hmm.
Was you
Not
inside? Was you
here.
inside that?
No. So that was downtown. I live outside of Portland, like in the
Oh, okay, okay.
suburbs, but it was 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Very interesting. Okay. Hmm. That's
Yeah.
very wow. This may be like a 9 hour stream. Now I'm joking, but so just touch on that. What was I think they called it the Chaz, right?
The Chaz. I don't
The
know.
Chaz, that's the area in Portland where there was no cops to go into.
Oh, probably.
The
Probably.
zone. Okay. Now, was you affected by that at all? Was people like, trying to break into your home or
No, not where I am. Not where I am.
okay.
That was more so like so we have two rivers in Portland. There's one river that divides us east west, and another one that divides us north south. So
Okay.
where I am, I'm in what's called Northwest
Hmm.
Portland, which is like where like Nike is. Like it's a bit newer area. Where all that was happening was downtown, which is like north, south Portland, and then east. And so a lot of the issues happened in like southeast Portland. So a lot of people there had some issues with their homes, and they were pretty scared. Luckily, nothing too much on the west side, but the east side got the brunt of it.
Wow.
Like there was a good like. Now it's a bit better, but after that happened, probably about a month after it happened, when I started driving again, when things started to open up again, everything was boarded up. Graffiti, homelessness, like all over downtown. It was really bad. Like you didn't want to be downtown. Like you didn't want to walk around. It wasn't like before in the summertime, you can kind of walk around. It's really, really pretty. It's not raining because it rains a lot here. Like right now it's super cloudy. Okay. So in the summer you get to like, all the restaurants have like outdoor seating. You can sit outside. You can really enjoy yourself. But after those riots, it just wasn't pretty anymore. It wasn't fun. It was just kind of like a war zone, you know, just boarded up everywhere, and so many companies left. Like a lot of restaurants had to leave. It was very unfortunate.
Okay. Democrat, Republican?
Neither. I'm
neither.
Yeah, people think I'm Republican because I'm like I'm not Democrat. I don't think I'll ever vote Democrat again. But I'm not registered Republican as either.
Okay. 2022 is it's about 4 weeks away, right?
Yeah.
The Blooming Ebony. What is she gonna be blooming into next year?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good question. So hopefully more vlogs. So I'm transitioning jobs right now. So once I get settled in my new job, I'll probably be doing some more investing into my channel as far as like editing software and stuff. So much more vlogs. I'm still trying to transition out of doing panels, which has been really hard because panels are just so much easier. As far as what I'll be vlogging about, I want to get my CPA. So I'm an accountant, and I want to get my CPA. So the reason why, so I originally wanted to be a surgeon. I went to school pre-med, chemistry with a minor in business. Decided that I didn't want to be in school for that long, that I wanted to have a family. And so I thought about what is a degree that I could get where I could be successful, you know, if I had to be on my own, I could be on my own and still make enough money, or that would benefit my family. And that option was accounting. So now that I'm done with school, I'm hoping to get my CPA. And so I'm going to show that process as well on my channel. Hopefully have that by the end of next year. Showing some budgeting as well. So a big part about being, I guess, marriage material is not having too much debt going into a marriage, especially if it's stuff that you don't really need. So showing me paying off debt and how I'm doing that. And so hopefully I meet some debt milestones next year, pay off my car, pay off half my student loans. So a few things, trying to dive more into kind of the modern housewife, things that we can do today that will make you more suitable to be a wife, since, you know, I wouldn't say cooking is outdated, but since a lot of the things that they did in like the 1950s are a bit more outdated, and most women do work now or have some type of background, trying to figure out how to make sure that you can kind of incorporate that into your marriage without it meaning that you're sacrificing time with your husband, time with your children, and time just taking care of your household, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And I'm not sure the second you uploaded a video speaking on those issues, right? How you wanted to become a doctor, but then you did the accounting.
Yeah.
Accounting degree? Okay. Was that your second video uploaded or a little bit further?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. But
yeah.
but it's on there. So with your
Yeah.
channel looking forward, you're looking to do more of collaborations, right?
Um,
Or more of
maybe
a solo.
more solo, less collaborations. I do plan to do some collaborations in the form very similar to like a panel layout, but it will be more people just talking about things that they want without getting any, like, it wouldn't be like a discussion where people can kind of chime in on what someone else is saying and kind of push back. It would just be
Okay.
like, as a man, what do you think, what do you want from women? And they'll kind of express that, talk about what that looks like for them, and then we'll go on to the next person. So collaborations in that sense. But as far as like interviews and like official panels where I'm asking questions, kind of pushing back, trying to, do more critical thinking that way, probably no more of that.
No more of that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really like hosting. I've learned like too much pressure. It's too much pressure. Like, I'm gonna leave that to the men. Let the men do it.
And that's the thing that people don't. Jr. for the Lapeep Network gets a lot of back. He
Yeah,
gets a lot of flack, but they don't understand. You got 5, 6 people in there. You try not to interrupt that person with that person, but this person down there wants to talk over this person, and
yeah.
So, but I do find it interesting is that Kay, she is she's a rebel on the show, right? She's a rebel, but if you look at her, if you watch her videos on Instagram, she's not like that. She
Mm-mm.
even had people call in. She's doesn't overtalk them. She's a very pleasant person. I just think it's a persona. It's entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So other than that, um, New Year's, any plans?
Not right now.
Because
It's
I
hard.
know all last year was the year was just horrible.
Yeah, like, I can't tell you what I did last year for New Year's. I have no idea.
I was
Uh,
home. I know that much.
I actually haven't even thought that far. Like, the holidays don't even seem
Mm.
that big anymore, I guess. Like, I don't know, no plans. No plans. I don't know where I might be in California again.
Okay.
Um, I might be in Oregon. I don't know. Wherever the wind takes me, we'll see.
Let me touch on something, okay? So there's a lot. I was a simp, right? There's a lot of simps out there. There's a lot. So you're gonna help them out, okay?
Okay.
You're gonna help them out, okay? So let's not use you as a particular example, but just in general, a
Mhm.
woman single, she's in a coffee shop. She's with her friends, okay? A guy's over there. He likes her. How should he like? What's the process for him to talk to her?
Oh, how many
You're gonna
friends?
help a lot of guys out.
How many friends? It's very. I'm being very detailed, but it matters. It matters.
It could be 3 friends. It could be
Yeah.
2 friends.
Okay. A smaller group. Um.
They're just sitting down there at Starbucks and just talking, but he likes her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, that's a hard one. So he would have to. The best way for him to talk to her would be when she's in line. So, like, let's say he likes her. Let's say her friends are already there, and she comes in a little bit later, and he sees her, and she's like, "I'm gonna go order." He
Hmm.
should go order. Like, he should get in line with her and talk to her in line and order her coffee.
What should he say?
Talk to her there.
What should he say?
Um, anything. It. See, the thing is women are very scary. Women are very, very scary now. And so a woman who's feminine and who is actively working to be more feminine would smile at him, and he could say anything from, "I thought you looked very beautiful. I saw you walk in. I would love to buy your coffee and have a quick little conversation with you while we wait." And if she's a nice woman, she would say, "Oh, I would love that," no matter whether or not she's attracted to him, because
Mm.
that's a sweet gesture from anybody. Even if it's another woman who's not interested in her romantically, who's just like, I love your dress. Can I buy your coffee? I'm new
Mm.
here. Can we chat?" You should treat anybody with that much dignity, right?
Yeah.
So a feminine woman, like, it could be that simple. Whereas, "You look very nice. I would love to buy you a coffee and chat with you while we wait. Is that okay?" Um, Unfortunately, that's in a perfect world where women are nice. Um, he would have to definitely read her energy. Um,
Mm.
I think the best thing for him to do is say something. He would say something clever in line and kind of see how she reacts. If she giggles, if she ignores him, um, if she giggles, makes eye contact, responds, that's a good time to be like, "Oh, you're very sweet. Can I buy your coffee?"
Mm.
He has to look for like a way in, I guess.
Opportunity, right?
Yeah, so he's looking for a giggle, a kind response, something like that. But she would most likely have to be away from her friends. And the reason why I say that is because if her friends, unless her friends are married, like if she's with like her married sisters or something like that, and
Mm.
he walks up to her, you know, her sisters are gonna like, or her married friends are gonna kind of push her, like, oh, go for it, you know,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
got
Okay.
this, you got this. But most likely her friends are single. I'm assuming these are probably 3 Black women. The odds are
Yeah.
they're probably all single. If
Or they're
they're
just
married, they work at
unhappy.
a coffee shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
um, and if they're all single, he should wait until she's kind of away from her friends, in line. One of them goes to the bathroom, so there's less to deal with, you know.
Mm.
If she's with one friend, that could be okay, but then you might make it awkward for the other friend. So that's just an uncomfortable situation, probably. And most introverted men wouldn't like that situation.
Mm.
So that's really hard. That one's really hard. I would say in line is the best way to go. Like if she's in line by herself, she just walked in, she just saw her friends, but she's in a good mood, you know, she's all
Mm.
bubbly. Um, that's a good way to go. And he can say pretty much anything as long as it's appropriate. Like, and I think most men know that. Like, don't compliment her body or like weird things like that.
Weird stuff. Yeah.
You know, keep
Treat
it
like a human
above,
being.
yeah, treat like a human being, you
Like a
know.
human being. This guy, because I'm into sales. So this guy named Grant Cardone, he does a lot on sales and real estate. The wife he's with right now, she said that she doesn't like men short. She likes men over 6 feet, and he's
Mm.
only 5'8". So his response was, "Okay, you don't like men that's short. Okay, lay down. Doesn't matter, right?" So
Right.
I think that the thing with a lot of men is that, especially with the red, I'm seeing a lot with the red pill community. There's a lot of guys that's talking a lot of stuff, but they're not living that life. They're
Yeah.
not. One guy called up Kevin Samuel, I think it was last week, and said there's no single woman out there. So Kevin said, when's the last time you talked to a woman in that way? No, they're just when was the last time you went to the mall and you talked to a woman? He was making up excuses, and I think he said something like, most of the women are, they're dating someone. He said, okay, I know. When was the last time you spoke to a woman? When last time you went up to? Tell me the situation what happened when you went to a woman. So, have you seen the movie? Wow, I forgot the name. It just came out with Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes.
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen it? Okay, you should go see it. You didn't see that. What was the last movie you watched?
Ghostbusters. While I was home, we went to go see Ghostbusters.
It came out.
Mm-hmm.
Scale 1 to 10.
7.
7.
7?
Did you see the one with the females?
No.
Okay. So they was putting out like a little campaign to try to ban the movie from coming out because they believe that it's only going to do better because there's men in there.
No
Gonna
way.
be it's gonna the movie that just came out is gonna do better than the female Ghostbusters because
Yeah.
people are sexist.
Yeah. A little
It's
bit.
just like the question came out, why the WNBA is not as successful as the NBA. We just spoke about it. There's $1 billion that's going to fake hair, probably eyes. Who knows, right? Fake hair, makeup. $1 billion is going towards those things when it could be going to the WNBA. There's a one NBA lady. She's debating to do a OnlyFans. I think she's created already. She's one of the top WNBA players currently.
I think it's the fact that people don't want to watch women do things that men do. It's people. when people see women do things, they want to see us model. They want to see us do things that are feminine, that are softer. They don't want to see us, elbow checking people. They don't want to see that. No one wants to watch that. It's most men don't want to watch women in that type of light unless they just like sports in general. And if they're gonna watch a sport, they're going to watch men do that thing because that's what men do. And I don't understand why people don't understand that women and men are not the same. We're not the same at all. Most people like to see women and men like to see women who are dressed up, doing like singing and doing things that are more creative. Women sit back for hours and watch other women like scrapbook and redecorate their homes. We're not going to sit here and watch women play basketball. Like men watch men do things that men like. Women watch women do things that women like. Most women don't like basketball. And most men want to watch women do things that they like to watch women doing, which unfortunately is stuff that's a bit more sexual and, that whatever. I don't really know. I don't have a man's brain, but we see what these people gravitate towards. Women barely watch men play basketball. Like that entire market is for men to watch men do men things. It's not really for women. Doesn't mean that women can't do it, but you can't really expect the same outcome. You have equal opportunity. Go ahead, go play, go create your own NBA. But you can't expect the same outcome just because you have the same opportunity. That's just not how life works. Yeah.
So the topic came out because it came out because women are blaming men.
Of course.
For being sort of sexist. The reason why the women's basketball is not as successful as the men. Shouldn't the woman be to blame for that? Because they're not supporting.
Pretty much. Like, yeah. I think so. Like, it's women not supporting other women play sports, pretty much. Because we don't like it. Like, goodness. Like, I really like to watch my own family, like my nieces and nephews play sports. I only watch it because I love them.
You want to support them, right?
Yeah, like I only sat at those t-ball games because they were my nephews. But I'm not gonna watch a bunch of women play basketball.
Bam, right?
Yeah. But I think women's volleyball does well, right? Doesn't women's volleyball do better than? You're not going to have the same outcome with everything.
Yeah, I think anything that if there's something that women are just doing just because they're doing, I think more people will be interested because it's not competing with men.
Yes.
It's their own section, And even with that, you got, they put on makeup and stuff. One of the top YouTubers is is a man. He does makeup. I guess I don't know. I don't think he's a drag queen. He's just
a star.
Yeah. It should have been a woman, right?
Yeah, probably.
So that's definitely a whole different topic. So around when should people expect to see more content from you? I know you said maybe like next year you're in a transition of jobs and so forth, but
yeah. So I have videos pre-recorded. I just have to edit them, and so I was trying to figure out OBS, but I'm considering just getting like an editing software and just learning that. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. But I have, I think, 3 videos that I've already recorded, just have to be edited. So maybe about 2 of those coming out this week. Yeah, from between now and Sunday.
Okay. Let's put you in what's called the hot seat.
Okay.
So the hot seat, basically you answer the question with one word. Okay. So describe yourself.
Oh shoot, this is hard. Soft.
So okay. How do you go to heaven?
How do I go to heaven?
Mhm.
Kindness.
Kindness. Okay. Black women are unhappy.
Unfortunately.
Black black men are unhappy.
Yes.
Black people should receive cash reparations.
Maybe.
Media news.
Awful.
East Coast or West Coast?
West Coast.
What state you would never live in?
Nebraska.
What state would you like to live in that you're not currently living?
North Carolina.
Dinner or dessert?
Ooh, dinner.
Married on paper or no papers?
On paper.
Jesus is white or black?
Black.
Pro-choice or pro-life?
Pro-life.
Pizza or cheeseburger?
Pizza.
Milkshake or celery juice?
Oh. Milkshake.
Fast food or home cooked food?
Home cuts.
What's your favorite home cooked food?
Chili.
Chili? Out of all things?
My mom's chili, yeah.
Your mom's okay, mom's
Actually,
chili.
California, yeah. I go all the way home for that chili.
Married under 30 or over?
Under 30.
Why?
Why not?
Why not? It's two words.
Why push? Oh, wait. Did you want me to elaborate or just?
You only can use one word.
Oh. Options.
Hair extensions.
No.
That was quick. Your mom.
Great.
Your father.
Great.
Siblings. Do you have siblings?
I do have 4.
Okay. All 4. Put them in one room, all 4. Including you, 5.
Beautiful.
Beautiful? Okay. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, I highly appreciate you. What is it? Is there something you want people to know, or yeah, I know you described what's going to come next in 2022, or maybe a little bit before, but what is it that how do you want your supporters to support you moving forward?
I guess send me suggestions, things that they would like to see. A lot of men watch me right now, and there are questions that they have about femininity, things that they appreciate in the women in their lives. They can send that to me, and I like to do my research and also kind of incorporate that in any advice that I try and give to women as they watch me. I think YouTube's like 90% male or something like that. Like most of the viewers are men, so it's kind of hard to get female supporters on YouTube. But hopefully, as more women find me, I'll have content for them that's helpful. And so a good way to support me right now is by following me on Instagram. It's at the Blooming Ebony. And send me suggestions when they can. I'm not as active on a lot of things right now just because of traveling and trying to figure out some things with work. But I will reach out when I get a chance, and I'll appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for allowing me to interview you, okay?
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. I loved it.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Bye.